Hello everyone and welcome to Natural Grocers Nutrition Education presentation. Today we are pleased to introduce Sarah Outlaw. She is owner, lead practitioner, and director of Natural Health Improvement Centers of South Jersey and Des Moines. Sarah has a master's degree in clinical nutrition, certified health coach, clinical herbalist, author, and advanced nutrition response testing practitioner. Welcome, Sarah.
Thanks, Janine. Thanks for having me. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about something called root cause nutrition today. I'm really excited to present this to you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so you're able to actually see the presentation. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I do in my practice is called nutrition response testing. It's a non-invasive way of testing for all sorts of root causes of different health issues. That's why people end up coming. So the presentation today is going to be all about that. So root cause nutrition, getting to the root cause of symptoms, and we are going to talk about a lot of different barriers that stand in the way of your specific health issues. So what is standing in the way of optimum health? A lot of people come to my practice and they literally feel like they are banging their heads up against a wall. They come to me with a list of symptoms that's about Santa Claus's naughty list size, and they say, listen, Sarah, how do I get rid of these symptoms? What do I do? I've had these symptoms forever. I've gone to the doctor and I've not been able to get to the root cause of them. They just either give me medication or they just say, you're fine, your blood work looks fine, but I don't feel fine. I hear this every single day in my practice. So what can we do about this? What's standing in the way? Well, let's get some terms out of the way first. First, let's talk about what is a barrier. So you can see up here on the screen, I put some definitions up. When we talk about barriers to healing, this is what we're talking about. So barrier is a noun, and a barrier means a fence or other obstacles that prevent movement or access, so something literally in the way. Some synonyms of barrier would be fence, railing, barricade, hurdle, bar, blockade, roadblock. Basically anything that's just in the way. And when we relate this to health, we're looking at things that are going to be a barrier to your body getting to optimum health, living the life you were meant to live in a healthy way. So a barrier can also be a circumstance or obstacle that keeps people or things apart, prevents communication or progress, like a language barrier, just basically anything in the way. So that's the definition of barrier. We also want to look at what the definitions of healing and health are. So healing is also a noun. It's the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again, like the gift of healing. It's also an adjective, which is something that is tending to heal. Therapeutic, which is basically what we do. We do some therapeutic healing. It's a healing experience. So health is an interesting term because in a bunch of different dictionaries, it's going to say different definitions. So basically, we see health as a state of being free from illness or injury, well-being, healthiness, fitness, good condition, good shape, more strength, someone who has a lot of vigor and vitality. And also we look at someone's mental and physical health, because it's not just the physical condition that matters, it's also the mental condition and the emotional health of someone that we look at. A lot of times people will get so in a state of depression or ill health that they would want to retire and not work anymore. So we're looking at getting to the root cause of what they have going on so that this doesn't happen and that they have many good years ahead of them. All right, so let's get into the actual nitty gritty of everything. This is my favorite part. So let's talk about the 7 barriers to healing. This is what we actually test for in our practice every single day. And we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes because you have access to people who do what I do all across the country. And it's an amazing modality. So if you're looking for a root cause healing, root cause nutrition, you can actually find those people wherever you are. So food sensitivities, immune system challenges, metals, chemicals, scars, emotions, and other stressors are the barriers that stand in the way of your body getting to optimum health. So we're going to break these down a little bit. So food sensitivities are something causing inflammation in the body, something causing issues that would cause the body to not be able to digest food, assimilate food, and use your own food for nutrition. So we see this all the time. People will come to us and say we've got, or I have issues with dairy. I can't digest my dairy when I eat it. Or every time I eat wheat, I get a rash, or I get itchy, or I get little bumps in the back of my arms, or I get a stuffy nose. All of those things would be considered a food sensitivity. Now, the thing with food sensitivities is they are actually a symptom. They're a barrier, yes, but they are actually a symptom of something else going on. So the food sensitivity is not the root cause. It's actually just a symptom of something else. That something else is usually an immune system challenge. An immune system challenge is anything in the body that's causing the immune system to react or cause a reaction to a food. So for example, it could be a bacteria that's not supposed to be there, a parasite, a fungus, a virus, a yeast, any of those types of things can cause the body to kind of go into an immune type reaction, which would cause sensitivities to foods because the body is busy with the immune system when handling that and doesn't have time to deal with your digestion at that point. So we look at that. Anytime I have a food sensitivity come up in the testing, I automatically think, okay, what immune system challenge is pushing this? And then what we usually do is we find the offending foods. Usually it's wheat, corn, dairy, and white sugar. Those are the 4 main ones that we find. And we will do a 90-day elimination of those foods. And then we will heal the gut in between that time and also get rid of the immune system challenges and then retest the foods to see if they are sensitivities again. Usually, because the foods are just a symptom of something going on as far as the sensitivity, we don't have to worry about those foods being a long-term issue and we don't have to do a long-term eliminations, which is great. So people will say, hey, Sarah, I've gone to lots of practitioners and they've taken me off of foods and I've done food eliminations. And I'm not able to eat those foods ever. Every time I try to eat them, it seems like nothing has changed. My body hasn't really healed. But if I don't eat those foods, I feel fine. That just means that you haven't actually gotten to the root cause of the food sensitivity. If you get to the root cause, you don't have to worry about those foods anymore. I always like to use myself as an example. I had Lyme disease, I had Epstein-Barr, I had adrenal issues, hypothyroid, I had Hashimoto's thyroiditis, all sorts of fun things. And I couldn't eat anything. Literally everything I would eat would give me some type of a reaction. So I was at the point where I always would say, I'm on the air and water diet, but even those are toxic and I couldn't handle either of those. So basically what we were able to find out was my immune system was shot. We fixed my immune system and my gut, and those food sensitivities went away. And I can eat whatever I want. Not that I would, because I prefer to eat a healthy whole food diet, but I could eat foods like cheese and pizza and spaghetti and cookies if I wanted to, and not have those same type of horrible reactions as I used to. We also look at metals and chemicals. And did my screen just go away, or is it okay?
No, it's good.
Okay. Where's my shared window? Okay, hold on 1 second. It just disappeared. Okay, there it is. Okay, so metals and chemicals, those are 2 other barriers to healing that we do see a lot of in our practice. People are exposed to these things every day. There's formaldehyde in the desk I'm sitting at today. There's, paint on my walls. I have nail polish on my fingernails, which is non-toxic, but still it's some type of a chemical that's in there. We have metal a lot of times in our mouths with amalgam fillings. We're exposed to the air, which is full of different chemicals. All of those things can be barriers to your health. So we see a lot of times with people with things like MS or rheumatoid arthritis, we see long-standing metal and chemical sensitivities that we test for that are standing in the way of their body's ability to heal themselves. Now, people always say, how come you have scars on your list? That seems a little weird. How come a scar would be a barrier to healing? Well, most of the nervous system receptors are actually located on the surface of the skin. So if you cut through your skin, you actually are cutting through the nerves, and that can cause a problem. So what happens is that scar acts like a capacitor. It sucks in the information that's meant to go to the nervous system, and it actually causes misinformation to go to the nervous system. So your body doesn't know what's going on in its environment. So sometimes we see this to be the main issue, especially scars along the midline. So if you have a C-section scar, or if you're a man, you have a circumcision, or any gallbladder scars, laparoscopy scars, belly button piercing, breast augmentation surgery, we are going to see these as an issue. We test to see if they're a problem, and then we handle them. Usually with either wheat germ oil or sesame seed oil, something to moisturize the area really well. And then we also do laser therapy in our practice to kind of help desensitize that area and have it not cause a problem anymore. We've actually seen scars be the main issue with people. And as soon as we handle the scar issue and desensitize the area, their health takes a turn for the better and their body's actually able to heal, which is pretty amazing. So emotions are huge. Every physical ailment has an emotional connection to it. And we can actually identify where an emotion is trapped in your system with the testing that we do and help clear it out. People have a lot going on. It's been a rough year, right? A rough year for people. 2020 was hard. And a lot of emotions that people didn't realize that they had trapped in their bodies and started to manifest. And we saw a lot of depression, anxiety, sadness, just feelings of isolation, anger, all these emotions kind of bubbling up. And people, it started manifesting people in different ways, health-wise. They have skin eruptions, or they would have stomach upset, or really, really bad headaches from just the stress of it all. So we're able to help identify what those are for you and kind of help you work through them, whether it be with emotional work or with actual homeopathic remedies or herbs to kind of help with those anxiety and depression feelings. So it's really beneficial to get to the root cause of all of these barriers so that you're able to clear them out and just feel really, really good. Other stressors would include like an Apple Watch causing some interference in your electrical system of your body. It could be your clothes. I know I usually wear a lot of black clothing, and there was a while when I was really, really sick with Lyme disease that I couldn't wear black clothes. It would actually make me sick to wear it. So I had to stop wearing black, like synthetic type clothing for a while and switch to lighter clothes. And then after a while, once my body was healed, I could use those clothes again. And it's because black actually blocks energy. So I wasn't getting enough vitamin D being out in the sun. It was basically holding in all the bad stuff, and my body was not able to heal as well as it could. And this was actually identified by a practitioner at the time that was more advanced than me. I was still in training at that point, and I didn't have any idea that my clothes were causing a problem. I just really like to wear black. So let's talk about some health conditions that are contributed to by these barriers. So if you're watching, make a list of things that you might have going on. And what we do is we reverse engineer all of your health issues to what the cause is. Because if you go to a medical doctor, a lot of times they won't tell you what the root cause is. They'll just give you a medication to handle it or to help you. But we're not really finding out why. So I'm pretty inquisitive. I was a little kid who started asking why pretty much the second I could learn how to talk. And I always want to know why. So when I was having my own health issues in my early 20s, when I lived overseas for a little while, and my doctor said, hey, just take an antidepressant, it'll take care of all of your symptoms. I said, no, I want to know why. And he couldn't tell me why. He couldn't tell me anything. He just said, here's a medication, take this. Little did I know I had all sorts of thyroid issues going on that weren't even being tested for. So some of the health conditions contributed to by these barriers would be thyroid disease, adrenal issues, digestive disorders, autoimmune disease, frequent colds or infections, ADD, ADHD, PMS, depression, anxiety, allergies, eczema, psoriasis, asthma, and so much more. Pretty much everything that you have going on symptom-wise or condition-wise has an underlying root cause. So we want to figure out what that is. So this is what we talk about every day in my practice. If you are familiar with anatomy and physiology, then you're familiar with this system in the body, which is the autonomic nervous system. But it's my whole world. It's basically what I live and breathe every single day. The autonomic nervous system is the system that runs the body. It does all of the things that you don't have to think about doing every day on a daily basis automatically, like making your eyes blink, your heart beat, your lungs breathe, etc. We specifically look at two main parts. We look at the sympathetic part of the nervous system, which is all the yellow that you see. That's basically your body's gas pedal. It's all the active things your body does, like moving, talking, heart rate, blood pressure, stress response. And we also look at the parasympathetic part of the nervous system, which is the green that you see on that chart. And it is more passive, body's brake pedal, and it consists of things like resting, digesting, and healing. So two very different jobs. They have to work together to run your body well. They run on the nutrition your body brings in as their fuel. So if your nutrition is either not right for you or you're not absorbing what you're eating, they don't work well together anymore synergistically. You or your organs are going to get very unhappy. They're going to start to dysfunction, and then you have symptoms. And when you have symptoms, there's been something going on for a while. The body can't handle it anymore. So it starts throwing up those symptoms as little white flags saying, hey, I need some help. So my job as a practitioner, a nutrition response testing practitioner, is to get into this system, find out what's going on at the root cause of the symptoms, and fix that. So we don't want to cover up the symptoms with the medications. We want to actually nourish this system. Since this system of the body runs on the nutrition your body brings in, if you give your body a medication actually bypasses this whole system and forces the body to make a change. So for example, if you have a headache and you take a Tylenol for that headache, your headache isn't gone, right? Your system just handled it for a little while with that pain medication. It's desensitized for a little while, but 4 hours later from now, you might need another set of Tylenol to get your headache to go away again. What we do with nutrition is we feed this system rather than bypass it so that your body can actually fix the root cause mechanisms of what's causing that headache in the first place. So it's a long-term sustainable change. So I always tell people with nutrition, it's definitely not a quick fix. Anything you're eating in your body is going to take a while to process. Any whole food supplements you might be taking is going to take a while for the body to make the corrections, but it's a whole body way of approach of looking at your symptoms, and it is a lifelong sustainable change. It's going to take not just a Band-Aid to cover it up, but a actual true change. So we love looking at the autonomic nervous system. You can see if you go to a chiropractor, the cerebral spinal area, which has that white section on the spine, that is what your chiropractor is adjusting. And that actually also does feed into the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. But what we do is actually called chiropractic nutrition. It was invented by chiropractors, the muscle testing technique that we use. And the reason why was because chiropractors were adjusting their patients, and adjustments started to not hold. And they're thinking, why in the world? I'm giving really good adjustments, but they're coming back in a couple of days saying it hurts again, the same spot. What they realized was that as the years went on, the last 50 years or so, our nutrition has not been as good as it used to be prior to about World War II. When all the pesticides and herbicides and fungicides started to come into play, our soils are becoming depleted, and our nutrition is not as good as it used to be. Plus, most of us eat, maybe not here if you're watching for Natural Grocers, but a lot of people eat a standard American diet, which is basically fast food or food that's been really, really cooked and processed, and we're not getting the nutrition that we need to run this system well. So by putting in that nutrition piece, chiropractors were able to get their patients' adjustments to really hold well, and it was amazing. So just to kind of review before we move on to some remedies to these issues, 7 barriers to healing. We talked about food sensitivities, how they are not the root cause, they are a symptom of something else going on, and that everything underneath is the basic root cause. So the immune system challenges, the metals, the chemicals, scars, emotions, and other stressors. These 7 barriers to healing cause organ dysfunction, and they cause nutritional deficiencies, and vice versa. They cause deficiencies and dysfunction. So it could go either way. So my job as a practitioner and other practitioners who do what I do is to actually put a halt in this mechanism of ill health and find out a way to properly nourish the body with whole food supplementation to get the body to correct these barriers and move past them. So we don't want to keep hitting our heads up against that wall. We want to push through that wall, through these barriers to actual health. So let's talk about some remedies. And these are a couple of my favorite slides. I use them a lot in my talks that I do from my office. The first remedy is to find a nutrition response testing practitioner near you. And as I mentioned in the beginning, a nutrition response testing is a non-invasive way of testing the body for all of those barriers. So we do a very basic system of what's called muscle testing. We go through, we find the underlying root cause of the issues, and then we give you a natural whole foods diet to follow based on what we test for. We also will prescribe some whole food supplementation, some real whole food to kind of get in there therapeutically and act as food as medicine, nutritional therapy. We also ask our patients and also people that we teach to avoid junk food as much as possible. That should be a no-brainer. You know, every once in a while, kind of that 80-20 rule, 80% really eating that whole food healthy diet, and then that other 20%, the occasional treat is okay. We're not about restriction. We're just about the majority of the things that we do being beneficial to the body, getting more bang for your buck nutritionally. We want to drink high quality filtered water. Water from the tap is actually not as clean as you might think. You're thinking, oh, we live in the United States, it's going to be clean. It's not. We're finding all sorts of different pathogens in water. We're finding all sorts of chlorine and chemicals and chloramines, which is basically an unscented version of a chemical that's more harsh to the body than chlorine. We also have fluoride in the water, which, as we know, can be a neurotoxin to the body and cause all sorts of issues if it's in the water. So any filter is better than no filter. So I say even the filter in your refrigerator is better than none. Just don't drink your water directly from the tap. Just have some type of filtration. Eating 5 to 6 servings of vegetables each day along with good fats is going to boost your immune system. It's going to keep your body running on all cylinders. It's going to nourish your body. You want to avoid white flour and other processed grains. Add sea salt to your diet, replacing table salt. Iodized table salt is not the best. It's super highly processed, and the iodine is actually added back in. So if you eat sea salt, pink salt, gray salt, regular sea salt, it's going to have the minerals already intact. Nothing's been added or taken away. It's going to actually be more beneficial to your body. Take whole food supplements specifically designed for your needs. I'm not a fan of just taking supplements just because somebody told me to, or because I saw it on an infomercial or a commercial. I like to take supplements that have been specifically tested on me for specific reasons and targeted to my own nutritional needs. And this is what we do in our practice, is making sure you actually need the things you're taking, so your body's just not wasting it and eliminating it through urine and all those types of exit channels. We also want to look at, in order to not have chemicals be a stressor or a barrier to us, replace our toxic household and personal care products with non-toxic alternatives. This makes a huge difference in our patients' and clients' lives, because when they start clearing out all of the chemical substances that they use to clean every day, and a lot of my patients and clients don't wear gloves when they're cleaning, and they're using bleach and ammonia and those types of things. It's just getting absorbed through that largest organ, which is the skin, and also right into the lungs. And when you breathe in those chemicals, it can cross the blood-brain barrier and get right into the brain, becoming a neurotoxin and cause all sorts of nervous issues and chemical toxicity. So just those simple steps of replacing your toxic household and personal care products. And I know that Natural Grocers has some really great alternatives to, those personal care and toxic household products. And they have some really good non-toxic options that I've been using for myself. So we also have, the fun part is basically self-care. So do something fun each day, take a break. I feel like all of 2020 people were, a lot of us were on lockdown and quarantine and those types of things. And fun really wasn't in the picture. People were just so afraid. So getting out there, it's a beautiful day. I'm in Iowa right now, and it's a beautiful day today. It's actually sunny and warm for once. It's been so cold the past couple of months. We didn't see the ground since November, and now it's March, and we just now are seeing the ground from the snow. Just getting out and taking a walk. Yesterday when I got home from work, I just laid flat on my back in the sun on my back porch, because the sun finally came out after days and days. So I was able to just sit there, and my kids came out and they were laughing at me. I'm like, I'm taking a break. I'm taking some me time in the sun here because I haven't seen the sun. So take a break, take a spiritual inventory of your life. Does it need some work? Spend some time in the sun each day, as I mentioned, if you can. Just a little bit of sun, even in front of a sunny window for 20 minutes, can make a huge difference in how you feel. Get lots of rest. Your adrenal glands love rest. And we talk a lot in my practice about thyroid and adrenals, because so many of my patients and clients have thyroid and adrenal issues. Getting lots of rest is really, really important for you. If you can get to bed between 10 and 12, it's the best for your adrenals. Essential oils, we love those. We love using especially citrus essential oils diffused in a diffuser, just for that uplifting citrus smell. It kind of gives you feelings of well-being. It freshens your air in your house. Laugh. It's really important to laugh, to smile, to be happy. This is a choice. I feel like being happy is a choice, and it really does help with your health. There was a study that was done a while ago that said that laughing actually boosts your immune system for 4 to 6 hours, and sugar depletes your immune system for 4 to 6 hours, and anger depletes your immune system for 4 to 6 hours. So there's a difference. So you have the correlation between the nutrition piece, which is the sugar, and then laughing and anger. It does the same thing to your body. Which is really interesting to realize. And they also did studies where they had 2 houseplants, and they yelled at one houseplant, and they yelled obscenities at it and told it it was worthless, and it actually wilted and died. Whereas they yelled at another houseplant, they actually spoke gently to it and sang, and it thrived. So very interesting studies that they have done in Europe on those types of things, but it's always interesting to read those. Minimizing stress. I know this has been hard. I know a lot of my patients coming in have expressed that, and I have really large practices, so I see hundreds of patients every single week. So we're really high volume. So I'm seeing these things every single day, so I can speak to those. I've seen over 100,000 patient visits in less than 7 years. So stress is usually the #1 issue that people are coming in with, and they want me to help them. So we're able to help you minimize stress, But doing all of the things above here will help you minimize stress on your own. Get a massage, get a go through a foot detox bath. We do those here. Go in a sauna, work out, go for a swim, and if you have a pool or a YMCA that you go to. And then this one is always hard for people, but it's necessary. Taking negative people out of your life as best as you can. You are the sum of the 6 people that really you surround yourself with, and other people can really bring you down. So just take some time thinking about who you want to spend the most time with. And obviously, if family members are being negative, you can't always take them out of your life, but you can work things out. There's counseling, there's therapy, there's other techniques that you can use to be able to handle those situations and really be able to cope with the negativity and have you not be the negative person. I posted on my Facebook page yesterday, my personal Facebook, about how we should be the people that we want other people to be. So if you want somebody to be loyal and be kind, then you be those things. And it's amazing when your perspective changes and your outlook changes, how things change. There's this really fun Facebook meme that I've seen of 2 people on a train, and one is on the side of the hill and one is facing out. So the person on the side of the hill, she's looking towards the hill and she sees how it's dark and bleak. And the other person is looking out in the beautiful sun outside the train window and she's seeing how beautiful it is. And it's all about perspective, because all that other person needed to do was turn her head and look out the window as well, and she would have been able to see the bright sunniness. So it's all about perspective a lot of times. And I feel like if you always identify with being sick and tired and depressed, those are the things that you're going to be. But if you choose to say, okay, I'm going to be happy today, it gives your body a little bit of a boost to actually go out there and get some healthy food in your system, or go see a practitioner to get some help, or go see a chiropractor, get some acupuncture, or get a massage, those types of things. It really is all about perspective, and we have a choice every single day. So basically what I talked about in a little bit is about nutrition response testing, and I know I'm able to talk about it a little bit. And there are actually practitioners who do nutrition response testing all over the country. And what we do, as I mentioned, is we actually test for those root cause of issues. And people always want to know what is it? So you can always go to my website and look up what it is. It's nhicdesmoines.com, or my South Jersey office is nhicSouthJersey.com. I personally see patients in person and virtually, and I have other associate practitioners in my practices, and there are other practitioners who do what I do all over the country. So if you want to find somebody near you, then just do a search online for nutrition response testing, and you'll be able to find a practitioner. So basically what I do before I end up here is I look for interference in the nervous system. So think of someone who has hypothermia. If I was sitting in front of you, I'm sitting in front of you and I'm not under any stress, right? So if I were to have you come over to me and push on my arm, I could resist you because I have strength in my arm. But if there's something going on with an organ like my heart, for example, and you come over to me and you push on my heart and my arm at the same time, my arm will actually collapse, because the energy, blood flow, and circulation will start to move away from that arm and go to protect your heart. Just like if you touch a hot stove, you don't have to think about your hand burning while it sits there and burns, right? You automatically move your hand out of the way. Remember when we talked about the autonomic nervous system? That is part of the autonomic nervous system's job, is actually protect your body from getting hurt like that. So we use that protection mechanism to test for stress in your body. So I will use your arm as your strength indicator. I will push on each organ of the body. If the arm stays strong, there's no stress. If the arm goes weak, there's some kind of stress I have to find. I then look for the stress in the body using a very specific testing technique. And then I look for the exact right nutrition that will be right for you. And then we go from there. I also do functional medicine. So people always say, well, I want blood work to kind of compare your muscle testing to. I'm like, that's fine. We do labs. We do everything here. So we're a functional medicine practice too, because I love to see both. I love to see what the blood work says. I love to see what hair analysis says, mycotoxin testing. I love to do hormone testing. We actually specialize in hormones, and see how it all compares with each other. So if you're interested in following us to see what we do, we're really active on social media. We love sharing information. Education is actually the #1 thing that we do besides practicing. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram. You can see the handles there. And you can also email me at any time with any questions. I am very easily accessible. And our motto is actually, health starts here. And we know that health starts with you. Health starts with you wanting to change your life and change your health. And myself and other practitioners who do what I do are right here on the front lines of wellness for you, and we're here to help you. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you got something out of this presentation, and I will turn it back to Jean.
Thank you, Sarah, so much for that great information.
You're welcome.
It was an enjoyable presentation. And thank you, everyone, for attending today. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch for more presentations in the upcoming weeks from Natural Grocers. Thank you and good night.